Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and keeping with our Black History Month theme, today we're going to be discussing the movie Selma, starring, and I apologize in advance if I mess up some of these names, David Oyelowo, Carmen Ejogo, Oprah Winfrey, Tom Wilkinson, Giovanni Ribisi, Tessa Thompson, Common, Dylan Baker, Niecy Nash, Tim Roth, and Cuba Gooding Jr. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, we're keeping going with our Black History Month theme today, and we're going to be discussing the movie Selma. Now, Selma isn't a person, it's a place. It refers to Selma, Alabama, and the march from Selma to Montgomery that was held by Dr. Martin Luther King. Let's get into this here, shall we? Our movie opens in 1964 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, or SCLC, accepts his Nobel Peace Prize, while four black girls walking down the stairs of the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, are killed by a bomb that was set by the Ku Klux Klan. And Annie Lee Cooper attempts to register to vote in Selma, Alabama, but she is prevented from doing so by the white registrar. King then goes to meet with Lyndon Baines Johnson, the President of the United States, and asks for federal legislation in order to allow black citizens to register to vote unencumbered. But the president responds that, although he understands Dr. King's concerns, he has more important projects. King then travels to Selma with Ralph Abernathy, Andrew Young, James Orange, and Diane Nash. James Bevel greets them, and other SCLC activists begin to appear as FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover tells LBJ that King is a problem and suggests that they disrupt his marriage. Coretta Scott King has concerns about her husband's upcoming work in Selma, while King calls singer Mahalia Jackson in order to have her inspire him with a song. King, other SCLC leaders, and Black Selma residents march to the registration office in order to register. After a confrontation in front of the courthouse, a shoving match occurs as the police go into the crowd. Cooper fights back, knocking Jim Clark to the ground, leading to the arrest of Cooper, King, and others. Alabama Governor George Wallace then speaks out against the movement, while Coretta meets with Malcolm X, who says that he will drive whites to ally with King by advocating a more extreme position. Wallace and Al Lingo decide to use force at an upcoming night march in Marion, Alabama, by using state troopers to assault the marchers. A group of protesters runs into a restaurant to hide, but troopers rush in and beat and shoot Jimmy Lee Jackson. King and Bevel then meet with Cager Lee, Jackson's grandfather, at the morgue, and King speaks to ask people to continue to fight for their rights. Harassing phone calls with the recording of sexual activity, which is implied to be Dr. King and another woman, leads to an argument with Coretta. Now, she knows that it is a fabrication, but the strain of constant death threats has taken its toll on her. Meanwhile, Keene is also criticized by members of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC. As the Selma to Montgomery March is about to begin, Keene talks to Young about trying to delay it for a day so he can spend some time with his family. But Young convinces Keene to let the march begin as scheduled without him, saying that he can always join in later. The marchers, including John Lewis of SNCC, Hosea Williams of the SCLC, and Selma activist Amelia Boyton, cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge and approach a line of state troopers who put on gas masks. The troopers order the marchers to turn back, and when the marchers hold their ground, the troopers attack with clubs, horses, tear gas, and other weapons. Lewis and Boynton are among those badly injured in the attack, and it is shown on national television, while the wounded are treated at the Brown Chapel, the movement's headquarter church. Movement attorney Fred Gray asks federal judge Frank Minnies Johnson to let another attempt at the march go forward, while President Johnson demands that Keene and Wallace cease their activities, and he sends Assistant Attorney General John Doerr to convince Keene to postpone the next march. Numerous white Americans, including Viola Liuzzo and James Reeb, arrive to join the second march. The marchers cross the bridge again and see state troopers lined up, but this time the troopers turn aside to let them pass. Keene, after praying, turns around and leads the group away, which again draws sharp criticism from the SNCC. That evening, Reeb is beaten to death by an angry white mob on a street in Selma. After a hearing, Judge Johnson approves the march. President Johnson speaks before a joint session of Congress in order to ask for quick passage of a bill to eliminate restrictions on voting, while praising the courage of the activists. The march on the highway to Montgomery takes place, and when the marchers reach the steps of the state capitol, Dr. Keene delivers a speech as our movie comes to its end. This one is a hard one for me, and I'm going to tell you why. The story was good. The acting was good. But I was bored. I'm being honest. I'm going to keep things 100. I don't mind a good biopic, a good pick with historical significance, but I've always been more of an action comedy type of guy. And this movie, there's really none of that, with the exception of the few scenes where protesters are getting shot or beaten. And that's a horrible way to depict it, but it is what it was. You know, I did enjoy the movie. I did feel like it was well told, well written, well acted, as I said, well directed. It just lost my interest a few times, where I would stop watching the TV and I would go to my laptop or my phone or something else would take my attention away, and then I'd remember, oh crap, I'm supposed to be paying attention to this. I hope that the other movies I've got going this week won't be in the same vein. We'll just have to see how things go from here. But overall, what I did pay attention to, I did enjoy. When it comes to my rating of this, like I said, it did bore me a little bit. It did take my attention away. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 stars. Again, that's that's no disrespect intended to the film or the message or anything. It just couldn't hold my attention the way I was hoping it would. The way that I think Malcolm X will, which will be Friday's review. We'll have to see how that one goes when we get there. But Selma, 2 out of 5 stars for me. What do you guys think? Those of you that have seen the film, let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And we're going to keep with our civil rights theme, part of Black History Month. We're going to discuss Behind the Movement, the Rosa Parks story, starring Metta Golding, Roger Smith, Isaiah Washington, Al Mitchell, LaShawn Clay, Loretta Devine, Tiffany Morgan, Derek Roberts, Antoine Mills, and others. You don't want to miss out on that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel on Renegades Reviews as we continue our civil rights movement portion of Black History Month. So make sure you smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of Dr. Martin Luther King, fans of the civil rights movement, fans of any of the people in this movie, Tim Roth, anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content in this video, share it with them. It's the only way we're going to boost up my visibility in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized and begin making money on the hard work I've put into this channel trying to grow it over the last 2 years. Thank you once again to everyone who joined me and tuned in today. It means so much more to me than you'll ever know. And I will see you guys next time.